Welcome back everybody. Today's review is for Patchouli Nobile from the Italian house Nobile 1942. As some of you may be aware, last year I was on a slow and steady train of patchouli love. I just really became infatuated with this material, this note in perfumes, and it's strange because it took me years to come around to, because like a lot of people, my early associations with patchouli were all about kind of those aromatherapy stores that you might find where you could buy patchouli essential oils, and they had associations with things. And it's not that I didn't like the smell, but my early memories are of living in share houses where people would burn patchouli incense and that kind of thing, and it's very difficult to shake until you start to appreciate how patchouli is used and the massive, massive role it plays in the world of fine perfumery. And to my mind, there aren't many finer in terms of patchouli perfumes than Nobile 1942, Patchouli Nobile. Now, let me talk to you a little bit about why this holds a special place in my heart. I find that this hits the very perfect spot on the spectrum between patchouli perfumes that come across as, that bring out all the sweeter facets of patchouli. For instance, I'm thinking of things that accentuate the chocolatey part of patchouli, you know, things like Mugler, Amen, even Coromandel. That's one side of the spectrum. And then you have things like, I have very limited experience with this, but then there's this kind of other end of the spectrum for me, like Frederic Malle's Monsieur, which is to me a very dark, dry, almost, what's the word I'm looking for? It's the woodiest of woody patchoulis that I've experienced. And here with Patchouli Patchouli Nobile, getting the names mixed up, it sits for me right in the sweet spot, although it's not as sweet as some patchoulis. What I get in the opening of this one is there is a cool pepperiness, which also plays with this kind of smoky, incensey note, but always the patchouli is there. The patchouli is there right from the beginning, but this spicy smokiness in the opening offsets any potential for us to experience this damp, earthy patchouli, and it's probably there. But what I did when I was testing this, I actually pulled out some raw materials at my desk, and I would spray this on, and then, for instance, I would smell my jar of patchouli oil, and it's really good in that you can tell the bits that are different in the perfume to the raw material. So the patchouli oil, you know, showed all its facets of dampness and earthiness. And when I could smell this on my arm, that smoky spiciness was kind of toning that part of it down. So you get this kind of cool, dry patchouli accord in the opening. What happens is, as it develops into the heart, then the patchouli takes on the characteristics of the other main ingredient in this perfume, which is labdanum, and I get all the lovely sweeter, resinous aspects of the labdanum, but the smokiness changes. So it becomes warmer. So it goes from this cooler, smoky patchouli to this kind of warmer, tiny bit sweeter, smoky patchouli. It's as if we've gone from just before dawn, and now that the sun is starting to warm the earth, it changes to smell like that. And for what a lot of people could call a patchouli soliflor, this has three kind of distinct phases. It's a lovely composition in that there is a top, a middle, and a base. And when it gets into the base, for me, the dry down of Patchouli Nobile is the best part, because it keeps all its characteristics. The patchouli is still dominating, the labdanum is still dominating. And then all of a sudden you notice this mossy accord, this oak moss accord, which brings on the leathery aspects of oak moss. And I almost want to say that this is a patchouli chypre, in that it has most of the facets of a chypre composition, but you can't escape the fact that it's dominated by patchouli, and it's probably missing a little bit. Well, it's missing a lot of that bright citrusy or fruity aspect you might get in a traditional chypre. Patchouli Nobile just really is well balanced and beautifully blended, and a completely wearable patchouli that is not going to be too loud that it's going to be too much for some people. If you enjoy the note of patchouli, this will give you a lot of what you can get, minus the super sweetness or chocolatey aspects of it. And also never getting too woody and dry as well. I just find it beautifully balanced, and it's the reason why it's my favorite patchouli dominant perfume. And for patchouli lovers, it's definitely one that should be sampled. It might not be everybody's favorite. For me, this is a reference. So when I smell other patchouli fragrances, I am kind of unconsciously probably compare it to this all the time. I get about 7 to 8 hours longevity on my skin, and I think this projects pretty well for the first couple of hours, because my spraying routine is generally I would do back of the neck, and I've kind of stopped spraying anything directly under my nose from the chest up. And this gives me a good indication of how well something might project, or its sillage as well, because if it's coming around from the back of my neck, I know that part of its performance is pretty good. I also love the bottles. These are great bottles. And I think I have covered off on everything I wanted to cover off on. This house is worth exploring. I'm definitely interested in testing a few others, and I find that they're pretty reasonably priced for this market, this segment of the market in perfumery. I think they only make perfume as well, so please check them out. I'll leave a link to their website on the description, and that's it from me. That's my review of Patchouli Nobile from Nobile 1942. It's a bit of a mouthful. I'll see you all soon. Okay, bye.